5 on your side at 10 starts now.
$81 million in the hole.
That is only a temporary fix.
Tonight, the budget battle heating up in St. Louis County between the council and the county executive.
Milder weather builds ahead of our next rain chance Thursday. The timing on the rain and what it means for your weekend plans.
Our top story, patients ratting out a clinic offering life-saving treatment.
One of the employees jokingly commented of how they killed one of those rats.
Tonight, the clinic responds to claims of an infestation. A St. Louis attorney is now advocating for several patients at a dialysis clinic in the Grove. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The unsettling probe comes as patients complain of rats running rampant at Fresenius Kidney Care Center located on Shoto. New at 10, 5 on your side's Brent Solomon explains how the claims could mean vulnerable patients being exposed to dangerous conditions.
A place patients rely on for life-sustaining treatment, now at the center of disturbing allegations.
There is colonies that are basically forming in these spaces and these walls, of which these rats are just having the run of the place.
Attorney Haben Abraha is representing several patients after being inundated with calls detailing an alleged infestation at Fresenius Kidney Care on Shoto Avenue.
The rats have started eating away at the chairs where these patients sit. Electrical wires have been chewed through.
He says compromising what's supposed to be a sanitary environment.
Their kidneys are no longer properly functioning. To remove the blood and to clean it, then recirculate it back in, requires a very sterile procedure and environment.
When I reached out, a company spokesperson told me the clinic temporarily closed for several days this month before reopening last Wednesday. Prior to reopening, our teams took measures to ensure that patients were returning to a clean, safe environment. These efforts included, but were not limited to, professional deep cleaning, disinfection, and extermination, as well as replenishing supplies.
What do you want to happen here?
We need transparency, first and foremost. They're essentially communicating to our clients that basically all clear, nothing to see here, and that's just not acceptable. We need to understand what inspections have been done. These are very vulnerable individuals that require the utmost care.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
According to the CDC, rats can carry diseases that can spread to people, resulting in symptoms that can include damage to kidneys. Fresenius says it is in close contact with the St. Louis City Health Department.
Right now, police are searching for the driver wanted for a deadly hit-and-run crash in Pagedale. Happened about 4 hours ago near Page and Kingsland. Police say a man in his 50s was crossing the intersection when he was hit. He died at the hospital. Within the hour, Missouri State Highway Patrol told us they are searching for a black 4-door Buick sedan with front-end damage.
Tonight, one man is in jail, 2 others in critical condition after a double shooting outside a Jefferson County bar. The gunfire broke out late Friday night outside Whole Shot Saloon on Highway 30 in Dittmer. Police say an argument started inside the bar. 24-year-old Christopher Masson of Cedar Hill is charged with 2 counts of first-degree assault and armed criminal action. He is being held without bond. Just hours ago, the St. Louis County Council announced its plans to overcome an $81 million budget shortfall.
The council and county executive Sam Page have been battling over the budget for weeks. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski is looking into the numbers tonight.
Mike and Kelly, the St. Louis County Council says they reduced the $81 million deficit by around $48 million. So their projected deficit for next year is only $33 million. The council says this isn't something they can fix in 1 year.
The St. Louis County Council presented a preview of their proposed budget on Monday, detailing the cuts they were able to make to the 2026 budget originally proposed by County Executive Sam Page. Here are the reductions Budget Chair Shalonda Webb says they were able to make.
Reduce the deficit from the general fund by $29 million, $7.7 million from special road and bridges, $11 million from the health fund, and $2.5 million from Parks and Recreations Fund.
The council took a different approach to the budget this year. 6 of the 7 council members and the budget director took on a CDL role, a council department liaison role where they met with the county departments at least 2 times to understand spending needs.
We looked at the vacancies, position vacancies. To clarify, these position vacancies are budgeted and are in our budget. Therefore, if we didn't hire these positions, that money was still in the budget.
The council says they eliminated somewhere between 300 to 400 job positions that were not filled.
The vacancies that were moved in most cases, not every case, but in almost every case, were vacancies that had existed for 12 months or longer.
Councilwoman Webb says they made sure each department had funding for salaries and even wage increases where requested for next year.
So I'm going to be real specific. If you're servicing the health department, the police department, any of those type of departments, and you already have a job, your job was safe. Again, I did not touch your salary, benefits, and your salary. We did not do that.
Council Budget Director Chris Howard says they only plan to spend $15.6 million of the Rams settlement money on the budget and don't plan on raising taxes, but they're very concerned about reserve funds.
We're still working on it. It's only about $40-something million. That's it. That won't carry you over into another year.
Immediately following the County Council's news conference, Doug Moore in County Executive Sam Page's office sent me this brief statement saying, quote, "We need more police, not less. We need more access to health care, not less. We need more funding for road work, not less." The council is expected to vote on this series of budget bills at their meeting at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Tonight, the Major Case Squad is asking for your help to track down the person who murdered a man and woman in the Metro East.
We have information that we believe this was not a random act against the public. We believe this was a targeted act.
Bruce Mason was found shot outside a Walnut Street home Friday and later died at the hospital. The very next day, police discovered Linnea Joyce White shot to death inside a nearby home. Investigators say the victims knew each other. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS.
Tonight, Wright City police are investigating after a woman survived a brutal attack. Police say this case of domestic violence happened yesterday morning on Curlin Drive. 5 on your side's Melanie Johnson went to the home in Warren County today.
Yellow crime scene tape still surrounding the home 24 hours later. The 43-year-old woman was found with cuts to her throat and defensive wounds on her hands. Charred belongings lay out on the front yard as police say her boyfriend of 8 years also tried to burn down the home with fireworks.
Police say 48-year-old Colby Jennings was found hiding in the neighbor's garage. He's being held without bond tonight. The victim's still in the hospital. She is expected to recover from her physical injuries.
Right now, a manhunt continues in Providence, Rhode Island for a person of interest in the deadly mass shooting at Brown University. Hours ago, police released new surveillance video of the man they're looking for. The masked man was seen walking near the campus 2 hours before a gunman opened fire on a group of students preparing for finals. 2 people were killed, 9 others were wounded. The FBI now offering a $50,000 reward. About 5 hours ago, people of all faiths gathered in Keener Plaza to light the giant menorah for the second night of Hanukkah.
Tonight's gathering comes just a day after an anti-Semitic terror attack in Australia left 15 dead and dozens more wounded. Local rabbis are using the attack as a lesson of the importance of Hanukkah, which focuses on bringing light into the world, and the darkness of the tragedy will not prevail.
We have to keep showing up. We have to still be proud. We have to shine that light for others and not show any fear.
The Anti-Defamation League says attacks on Jews account for nearly 20% of all hate crimes in the U.S. The Jewish Federation of St. Louis says it's working with local law enforcement to protect the safety of Hanukkah celebrations across the region.
Tonight, a group of St. Louis survivors from the May 16th tornado are back home from Washington, D.C. They were a part of the National Coalition of Disaster Survivors sounding the alarm on the Trump administration's proposal to shrink FEMA. They claim the already slow federal response in North City and across the country will get even slower.
In some cases, it might as well still be May 17th. They need weatherization. They need, utilities. They're in the dark. It's getting cold.
The FEMA Review Council is expected to vote on its recommendations soon before sending them to the White House.
It's a seismic shock.
A Hollywood tragedy. Iconic filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife murdered, their son arrested.
A very, very tragic incident.
And later, sports director Frank Cusimano takes a look back at one of Rob Reiner's memorable visits to St. Louis.
At a ballpark is when I feel most comfortable.
Treacherous toys, the hidden holiday dangers, and the piece of bathroom trash that could keep your child safe.
Now that the Arctic air is gone, could we get through the rest of 2025 without seeing another round of bitter cold? We're tracking the trends as the pattern change is evolving tonight.
Tonight, Hollywood and fans around the world are mourning the death of iconic filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. A memorial is growing on his star along the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Tonight, the couple's 32-year-old son, Nick Reiner, sits in jail facing charges in their murders. They were found stabbed to death last night inside their Brentwood mansion in Los Angeles. Nick Reiner has talked openly about his struggles with addiction and homelessness. He co-wrote the 2015 film Being Charlie, which his father directed. His bail is set at $4 million.
President Trump signed an executive order today declaring fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. It's the administration's latest effort to combat the flow of illicit drugs into the United States on top of controversial airstrikes on alleged drug-carrying boats from Venezuela. The order calls for the prosecution of anyone involved in fentanyl trafficking. The CDC estimates fentanyl killed more than 80,000 Americans in 2024. And today, President Trump also said he's strongly considering reclassifying marijuana as a Schedule III drug. Right now, it's considered Schedule I, which also includes heroin and ecstasy. Schedule III drugs include ketamine, prescription Tylenol, and steroids. Reports say the change could greatly boost the cannabis industry.
Tonight, a safety warning as you check off the toys on your holiday shopping list.
Megan Bragg breaks down which toys could pose a danger and how to keep your child safe this season.
About 3 billion toys and games are sold in the United States every year, but each year they can land some kids in the hospital. So what are the biggest dangers?
According to the U.S. PRIG Education Fund, every year the United States sees at least 150,000 toy-related deaths and injuries treated in the emergency room among kids 14 and younger. While both the fund and Consumer Product Safety Commission says toys have gotten safer, there are some things you need to look out for.
One of the first things that everybody thinks about is a choking hazard. And so particularly toys are labeled for age. So there's several that will say on the packaging, not for children under 3 years of age. That's usually because there's a choking hazard in there.
Dr. Keating, a pediatrician for Cleveland Clinic, says if any part of the toy can fit through a toilet paper roll, then it's a choking hazard for kids under 3. When buying toys this holiday season, the CPSC states look for toxic chemicals, recalled toys, and counterfeit toys. A couple heads up for some popular toys. In August, CPSC issued an urgent warning on the fake version of Labubus because they can break apart easily and cause a choking hazard. PRIG researchers also issued a warning for AI chatbot toys, saying parents should monitor what the toys are saying.
Dr. Keating also says anything with wheels can pose threats to children, so make sure they're wearing their helmets.
And right now on the 5+ streaming app, we are helping you avoid falling victim to the most popular holiday scams. You can watch for free. Just search for KSDK in your smart TV's app store.
Just hours ago, a special holiday treat for the young patients at SSM Health, Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. More than 1,000 community members came out for the Light Up Glennon event. They stood outside and sang Christmas carols and shined flashlights to the children inside. Even the Grinch was spreading cheer. Hospital officials say the annual tradition is a great way to bring the holiday spirit to patients. 5 on Your Side is partnering with the Foster and Adoptive Care Coalition once again to make the holidays brighter for children impacted by foster care. We just checked, and there's just 78 Little Wishes left to grant before Christmas. If you would like to help, we'd love your help. Just go to ksdk.com/Little Wishes.
So great to see so many people out there for Light Up Glennon. And Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's here with the weather impact forecast. In years past, it's been so cold.
And yesterday, had they done it last night, it would have been miserable, right?
Yeah.
So tonight was much better. We've had some clouds roll in. You sort of get that from the picture here, looking down Market Street towards the arch. They're up at about 2,000 feet. It's an area that's sliding by to our south and should move on out. Arctic high pressure down to our southeast. It's moving away, so that's turned the winds more out of the south, although they've slackened here during the evening hours. Our eyes focused on the Pacific Northwest with more energy coming in here. Eventually, that's heading our way, and that will arrive on Thursday, giving us the opportunity, a decent opportunity for some showers and maybe even a rumble of thunder. 34 degrees in St. Louis. Look at the Quad Cities at 13. Indianapolis is 23. So is Springfield. Snow on the ground up to our north and northeast. Our pattern overall is one that is much milder going forward, perhaps for the rest of the year. We're around 50 tomorrow. Into the 50s Wednesday and Thursday, and you notice the big dip on Friday. So let's take a look and explore this here as we go through time. First of all, let's get you through what's happening now. The winds have settled. It's 34, dew points 17. We hit 45 today after a morning low of 12. It's a pretty good return. Tonight, not nearly as cold. We're dropping back into the mid and upper 20s. Those clouds that are mainly from St. Louis south will move over into Illinois and get out of the picture. That means bright sunshine most of tomorrow and back around 50 degrees. Now we get to Thursday. Wednesday's a lot like tomorrow. It's nice. We get into Thursday, and here we have the front coming in from the west. We have the moisture streaming northbound from the Gulf. We expect showers to break out along that front. There's a chance during the rush hour where we get scattered showers, but the main area is right along the front, and that will come in after rush hour on Thursday morning and then exit after lunchtime. It becomes breezy and colder. You know, there could even be a snow flurry or two late Thursday as we drop to about 20 degrees by Friday morning, and we're only around 40 on Friday. That's still much better than what we had over the weekend. Saturday, we bounce back to 55, and then we're kind of topsy-turvy here. But could we get into next week and maybe even the rest of the year without seeing the true Arctic air slide our way? It flirts with us on Friday, but going into next week, the pattern really shifts, and all trends are for us to have a problem seeing Arctic air pressing in here anytime for the next 7 to 10 days. So you look at this 7-day forecast. Friday's your coolest day. If 40 is our coldest day between now and the end of the year, I mean, Kelly, we'll go dancing on the street.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scott, thanks. All right, let's go to Frank with sports.
Well, the Blues lost another star player today. City SC looks like they're hiring a coach, and we're going to the archives to play an old hit and run with the late, great Rob Reiner.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is now available in Missouri.
Revenge always seems to work in the movies. The Count of Monte Cristo, Walking Tall, Taken. Not working for the Blues, though. You would think after Nashville embarrassed them 4 days ago, you would come out flying. 27 seconds in, Ryan O'Reilly deftly feeds Philip Forsberg 1-0 Predators. 10 minutes later, Hugh McGing, nice play. Dalibor Dvorsky unleashes a cannon. We're tied at 1. Dvorsky with 2 goals tonight. One guy who you can never question the heart of is Braden Shen. Very courageous in this fight against 6'6" Nicholas Hague. Best moment of the night, Kelly Chase with a passionate speech to the crowd on Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Love you, Kelly. But when you have Reed Schaefer beating Joel Hofer from the blue line, it's not your night. Preds win 5-2.
It's a great example of not being prepared to start on time. But it's Christmas season. I want to focus on the positive. The positive is Dalibor Dvorsky.
Here's the negative. The Blues did not need this news. Dylan Holloway suffered a high ankle sprain in practice yesterday. Those are nasty and linger. So Holloway will be reevaluated in 6 weeks. He was arguably their best player, tied for the team lead in goals and second in points. City SC will soon have their 5th head coach for their 4th season. Sources are indicating that Johan de May is the new guy. He's 35 years old and from France and has twice been an interim head coach in the MLS. He was an assistant on Columbus when they won the MLS Cup. Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh with the Dolphins in town. Everybody talking about 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. How about 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers? The touchdown to Marcus Valdez-Scantling. Rodgers has 22 touchdowns and 7 picks. Of course, it helps when you have DK Metcalf. Whoever has DK on their fantasy team must be a brilliant coach. Steelers win 28-15. By now, you've heard of the death of Rob Reiner. What you may not know is Rob was a passionate sports fan. Each summer, he would visit a different baseball stadium. In 2007, he chose Busch. And since Monday is the hit and run night on Channel 5, I thought I would show you our rapid fire Q&A with Rob 18 years ago. Baseball hero growing up.
Well, without question, Willie Mays. I mean, I was a New York Giant fan. I was born in the Bronx. You were either a Yankee fan or a Giant fan, or some were Dodger fans, but they were from Brooklyn. And I love Willie Mays. I mean, he was my idol.
Most athletic actor you've worked with?
Billy Crystal is one of the most athletic. He's a wonderful baseball player. He was an all-city shortstop when he was in high school. He and I played on the same team together for 5 years. We won a couple of championships. He was the second baseman. I was the first baseman. Coney Island Whitefish, very famous team. So I would say he's probably one of the best athletes.
Most impressive stadium you visited so far?
It's all the retro parks that I've seen. The beautiful, you know, I love PNC Park in Pittsburgh. I love now it's AT&T, used to be Pac-Bell and SBC in San Francisco. I like Miller Park. And this park, I gotta say, is right in there. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous.
What stadium's a dump?
You know, I hate to tell you, but Comiskey Park in Chicago, to me, is my least favorite. Also, the Oakland Coliseum. It's not meant to be a ballpark. It's basically a football stadium they play baseball in.
If you're in the stands when Barry Bonds breaks the record, what would you do?
I would actually be thrilled. I mean, I know he's gotten a lot of bad raps recently, but I'm a huge Barry Bonds fan. To me, he's a great baseball player, one of the greatest players that ever lived. The man has 7 MVPs. He's going to have probably close to 800 home runs, and he's a great all-around baseball player.
Where would you rather be, a World Series game or the Academy Awards?
I'd rather be in a ballpark than any place else in my, you know, aside from my family and my home with my wife and children. But at a ballpark is when I feel most comfortable. I'm most happy. The minute I walk into a ballpark and I see the green and the stands, I'm absolutely in heaven.
And you know, he really appreciated the Cardinal experience because, as you got from that interview, the man is a baseball lover. And to be at Busch Stadium, especially when the Cardinals were great and packing the place, it was really an unbelievable experience for him.
And you said he was going around to these ballparks like on a grand tour with his son, right?
Yeah, it was, I think that was park number 26 or number 27, and he eventually got to them all. Of course, he's a big Dodger fan.
Yeah, I'll bet. All right. Thanks very much, Frank.
Spreading Christmas cheer, the Illinois College campus where rocking around the Christmas tree is ringing off the hook.
Right now, students at the University of Illinois in Champaign are standing by, ready to answer your call and sing you a Christmas tune.
It's called Dial a Carol. Karen Eisert shows us how a 65-year tradition is still going strong.
What song would you like us to sing for you?
As the clock strikes midnight,
Jingle Bell Rock, please.
the calls and carols begin.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
This is Dial a Carol.
Hi, thank you for calling Dial a Carol. My name is... I just love the Christmas cheer that it spreads.
It's an annual tradition at the U of I dating back 65 years.
Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. It was started by a front desk person who just really wanted to spread Christmas joy, and so we've just kept the tradition going since then.
For the rest of finals week, this room inside Snyder Hall will fill with the harmony of Christmas cheer.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to...
Nice way to spread some joy during some stressful times.
And it's calls from all over Illinois, the U.S., and the world.
We believe in the power of music, and especially in giving back to our communities through music.
Peace on earth and mercy in our God.
Any holiday song at any time of the day. These students are eager and ready to sing.
I like Let It Snow.
I love Jingle Bell Rock. I'm a big fan of Dominic the Donkey and Last Christmas by Wham. That's my favorite song.
Because the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet.
Dial a Carol runs now through Wednesday. Phone lines are open 24 hours a day.
The number is area code 217-332-1882. 332-1882. And you called them.
I called it tonight, and Joseph serenaded me with Oh Holy Night. Very good, by the way.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 5 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.